Okay, today we are looking at the most broken cards in Magic the Gathering history that in their time were amazing, but today are now garbage. Okay, we're going to start this all off with Mastercore. And believe me, at the time, that was the chase rare. That was the chase card. Every deck had to play Mastercore. If you were playing black, red, blue, green, it didn't matter. You had to jam this card. What is Mastercore? 4 mana for a 4/4 creature. Mastercore. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may choose and discard a card from your hand. And if you don't, you have to sacrifice it. So if you have no cards left, goodbye Mastercore. 2 mana. Mastercore deals 1 damage to target creature. That was one of its good. That's one of the good parts about this card. It could kill off like basically anything. And especially, this is from Urza's Legacy. And you know, this is from the era of like Tolarian Academy, Grim Monolith. You know, you get the idea. They would have a lot of mana. And, you know, Voltaic Key to untap that Grim Monolith. So you could shoot down something as 5 toughness. And also had 2 mana regenerate Mastercore. So the Mastercore versus Mastercore mirror was... I actually don't know how it played out because I was never in that situation. But I'm sure it was quite silly. But by today's standards... especially since, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people who've never even heard of this card. It's unplayable. Discarding a card every single turn, just for a 4/4 regenerating creature. You know, Walking Ballista does more than this. If I have a ton of mana, I'd rather have a Walking Ballista that's not going to eat up my hand every game. And like, if I empty my hand, I have no more Mastercore left. Mastercore goes back into the bin. It goes bye-bye. This is on the reserved list, by the way. You know, the reserved list. This is a reserved list card. Not a... And $2... No, I guess it's not $2. These are all fake cards. The actual one, $13. Or almost $14. For nostalgia, basically. Does it see play anywhere? Is anyone playing Mastercore? Did anyone make a commander deck that represents, I don't know, Urza's Saga? With Voltaic Key? With Morphling. Okay, that's the next one we're going to go to. Morphling. Also another... Urza block must have been a crazy set to play. Blue, 3 generic for a 3/3 creature. And you would think, hey, this thing's got a lot of abilities. This thing must be outrageously busted. And at the time it was. It was like a staple to any blue deck, any blue control deck. A combo decks played Morphling. Okay, here's all the abilities. Pay a blue, untap Morphling. Great, so basically it has Pseudo Vigilance. You go in for the attack, then you can untap it to go for some blocks. Pay a blue, gains flying until end of turn. Alright, you got any blockers? You got Mastercore? I can fly right over that damn thing. Pay a blue, cannot be the target of spells or abilities until end of turn. That was insane. I mean, even by today's standards, if you put this on a card, it would still be pretty good, I would think. Pay a generic. Morphling gets +1, -1 until end of turn. So you can attack and then pump it up twice, get it into a 5/1 creature, and that is a 4-turn clock. And then you could also pay 1. Morphling gets -1, +1 until end of turn. Now, what made this a little extra more broken than usual was that damage, because of damage on the stack at the time. The old rule was that damage went on the stack. So these days, it just happens. You just take your damage after, you know, the attack. You don't block. You take the damage. You're not allowed to respond. But back in the day, you could respond to the damage. Let's say Morphling attacks and gets blocked by, I don't know, a 5/5 creature. What Morphling could do is first pump itself up to a 5/1, let the damage go through. Now, while damage is on the stack, the opponent's creature was blocking Morphling. Let's say the Morphling was taking 5 damage from the opponent's blocking creature. Then, with the damage on the stack, you use the other ability to increase its toughness to 6. So the opponent's creature dies, Morphling lives. Now that damage on the stack doesn't exist, well, it seems like this card doesn't exist. But even if damage on the stack still existed, I don't think this card would see that much play. So if you had a lot of mana, this thing was invincible. Couldn't kill it, attacked relatively quickly in a short amount of time, and can also attack and block in a big way. Flav Loco, thank the stars. Teaching new players about damage on the stack was interesting. You know, truth be told, I mean, I played around the era of damage on the stack. I didn't even know what... I didn't really completely understand damage on the stack for some reason. I understood cards on the stack, but damage on the stack, it didn't make any sense to me. So if I had any responses, I just said the magical words, damage on the stack, and then had responses after damage was dealt. So. Alright, what else? Wait, what do you guys think? Oh, this is an interesting one. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Jace the Mind Sculptor. You know what? I think that absolutely can get on this list. Who plays this card anymore? What's funny is I got unbanned in Modern and then just promptly didn't see any play. It saw play and then it was completely overshadowed by, I mean, let's go take a look at Jace the Mind Sculptor. Blue, 2 generic, 3 loyalty. I think this was the first Planeswalker with 4 abilities. 4 of them! It had to be good. And they were actually all good. Almost all of them were incredibly relevant. Okay, +2. Look at the top card of target player's library. You may put that card on the bottom of that player's library. Basically a win condition right there. That's all you needed to do. You go +2 and then you go to the -12 when it becomes enough. When you have enough loyalty. Exile all cards from target player's library. Then that player shuffles their hand into their library. So you don't need a win condition in your deck. All you needed was Jace the Mind Sculptor. 0. Draw 3 cards and put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. That was what buried people. So I mean, even in the face of removal or a bunch of creatures on the battlefield, you just 0 it. Just go for the 0. Get your card. You fogs for a turn, but you get your card. And -1, return target creature to its owner's hand. So situationally, you would use this. Like, maybe there's an empty board. Not an empty board, but 1 creature on board. You just bounce it. You know they're going to replay, and your Jace is going to be safe. So, Jace the Mind Sculptor was broken for years, actually. They made a song out of him, Jace the Mind Sculptor, better than all. And they didn't make the sequel, Oko Thief of Crowns, better than Jace. So, what happened? What happened to this card? I mean, at least, you know, Morphling has a bit of an excuse. You know, the rules got changed. What happened to Jace the Mind Sculptor? I can at least say for Modern, it got completely displaced by Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. It's just like, splashing white made all the difference. I mean, most control decks were running white anyway, but this was just an outright more powerful card. You go +1, draw a card at the beginning of the next end step, untap 2 lands. So you basically just spent 3 mana on this thing, not 5. And you would get that mana for every additional turn afterwards, so that really helps control players. You can, instead of -1, return it to their owner's hand, you can put it directly into their library, so you don't have to deal with it for a few turns. And the emblem is actually more game-winning and easy. I wouldn't, maybe not easier to pull off, although I have to say this emblem happened way more often than the Jace emblem or the Jace ultimate happened. You get an emblem whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent opponent controls. Your opponent will absolutely be screwed after that. Absolutely be screwed. Yeah, don't forget to like, folks. Chris Ross reminding all of us. It's a Delver of Secrets. Was Delver ever broken? I guess so. Can we consider Delver garbage by today? Do you know what? Delver, by today's standards, is not considered to be a very good card. Delver is now considered to be the worst card in all the Delver decks. It is always replaced. It is waiting. The shell is great. The Delver is useless. Delver taught people how to play a tempo deck. Or a deck full of spells. Yeah, this 1/1 that you have to flip into a 3/2. Just play Ragavan. Just play Dragon Rage Chandler. Just play Ledger Shredder. Just play anything else. Anything else. Icy Manipulator. I don't know, so I can't actually attest to how broken this thing was. All I know is that this was a chase card. This does have an aura around it, so much so that they reprinted it in Dominaria. 4 mana, 1 mana, tap. Tap target creature, artifact, creature, or land. I guess this was like a control card back in the day. Keep control of everything. Logan says, I completed my first Legacy deck. Congratulations! I hope you are near a local game store that has Legacy players. Just Tron? It was just Tron at the time? Tron in Modern. There was no way Tron in Modern ever played this. I don't even think this was legal. Or they... Oh, it was in Mirrodin, actually. This was in Mirrodin. This is an old card. I mean, I think this is from Alpha. Where's the original one? Here we go. Alpha, Icy Manipulator. The card looks way better back then. I actually like this really dark artifact background and then this really deep blue dark artifact orb. Got Lightning Bolt there hanging out in the background. Oh, this was not made by Christopher Rush. Douglas Schuler. Icy Manipulator plus Royal Assassin. That was the combo back in the day. Tapping the land on upkeep was so brutal. Wait until Richmond Port was printed. That thing became brutal. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, we got Rob. Mastercore was as expensive as revised duels and was played in every deck. Now unplayable. Yes. Now completely unplayable. That's how we started the show, though. I don't know if you're late or not. Okay, so what else do we have here? I'm drafting in Magic 30 and I've never played Magic in 30. Help me out. I have no idea how to help you. You're all lost. We're all lost together in Magic 30. Piracy? Was this a card? This card? The card called Piracy? This turn you may tap lands you don't control to help pay for your spells. Actually, this card is very expensive. Is it on the reserve list? I don't think so. Maybe it's just a very rare card. This turn you may tap lands you don't control to help pay for your spells. So basically, and it's weird, it's at sorcery speed. I can't attest, though, if this card was ever broken at its time. Wild Nacatl. You could never play a deck without you could never play Zoo without Wild Nacatl. This was the classic 1-mana 3/3. Wild Nacatl gets +1/+1 as long as you control a mountain. Wild Nacatl gets +1/+1 as long as you control plains. This was banned. It actually got banned in Modern because to diversify the format. Too many people were playing Zoo. Zoo all over the place. Yeah, Zoo everywhere. Zoo here, Zoo there. So they thought that the best way to balance the Modern format was to ban the cat. Ban the cat warrior. And it's all over. So, anyway, yeah, I don't have anything else to say. This used to be an all-star. You know what, though? It was very good at a time that there weren't a lot of 1-mana removal spells. Like your premier 1-mana removal spell was basically Lightning Bolt, and the next best thing was Path to Exile. You really want to Path to Exile an aggro deck on turn 1? You're just going to give them more mana, and you're going to bury yourself in. So that was the problem with the removal at the time. But by today's standards, we've got everything. We've got Fatal Push, Prismatic Ending. We've got... oh my god, we have to have more than that. We have things for free. We have Fury, Solitude. So this thing isn't really a danger anymore. But it was broken at the time. Broken enough to get banned, at least. Oh, you hear that? It's time! Hold on, we're gonna look. Curse Scroll! Oh my god, that was... That also was a staple of everybody's deck at the time. But before we get into Cursed Scroll and its legacy... We gotta thank our sponsors, Fusion Gaming, Online.com, your one-stop shop to buy all your paper Magic singles. You can even get deck boxes and more. I got myself a Boulder the other day. I forgot to get another one. My Pauper deck has been assembled by buying everything from Fusion Gaming, Online.com. Deal of the week, by the way. 15% off all Secret Lair singles and box sets. You always want to tune in every single week to see what the new deal of the week is. You never know when your Gilded Lotus and Fetch Lands and stuff like that are going to be on sale. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get an additional 5% off all your purchases, and it supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online, so you can play every deck you could possibly want Whatever is the flavor of the day for you. Today I feel like playing a blue control deck. I feel like playing black-green mid-range. I feel like playing a fast artifact deck. You can do that when you're renting the cards from Mana Traders. You borrow them, you send them back, and you rent a new one. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in my description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_B2Q. Play more decks, get that competitive edge. Alright, so now back to the... Oh yeah, by the way, you want to know where my gameplay streams are? The VODs go to Nikachu Plays MTG, a new YouTube channel. Alright, link to that also in the description below. And now back to Cursed Scroll. Cursed Scroll. Alright, 1 mana, pay 3, tap, name a card. Target opponent chooses a card at random from your hand. If he or she chooses the named card, Cursed Scroll deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So now the deal is, basically, you have to empty your hand. Empty your hand, almost. Leave 1 card left, so that the card that they have to choose at random will always deal 2 damage. So this was a means of, like, killing off every single creature on the battlefield, and it would also is a means of just killing you. It was a win condition by itself. I can't remember the full range of decks that played Cursed Scroll, but now it's like nowhere. Legacy, you want to play this card? It's a classic. It's a complete classic. Ruben says, has someone already said Path to Exile or Snapcaster Mage? Path to Exile still sees playing sideboards as of today. We could do Snapcaster Mage. This guy's running out of formats to play in. Yeah, this thing collapsed. The price, what was the, let's look at the price. We need prices here, people. Let's look at Snapcaster Mage. Let's see the rise and fall of Snapcaster Mage, because we're right now in the era of it falling. It's in free for all mode, and notice it happened the moment it started going down in price. The moment. Modern Horizons 2. Why is that important? Okay, let's take a closer look at Snapcaster Mage. What the original Snapcaster Mage? Blue 1 generic 2/1 flash creature. When Snapcaster Mage enters the battlefield, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. Now, let's take a look at, say, the premier control-ish deck in Modern, the 4-color Omnath deck. What cards are we playing with? We're playing with Planeswalkers like Wrenn 6, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, sometimes the higher Teferis, Teferi Time Raveler, and then we have always Teferi Time Raveler, and then sometimes Teferi Hero of Dominaria, but not really. Then we've got our spells, our creatures, Solitude, Fury. You got Omnath, which deals damage. So where's the spells? What is this guy gonna flash back? This guy doesn't flash back nothing. Now now basically our instants and sorceries have been replaced by creatures. So Snapcaster Mage has been displaced. Yeah, he was replaced. He is, I mean, it's in theory still playable, but he's just sort of really clunky and underwhelming compared to you know, the elemental menace. Oh, we might as well play this one, Bitterblossom. This should be number 1 on the list. This card has such an aura behind it, it still has a high price tag and still goes up. Now, also, I'll admit, though, that if you're a fairies player, you care about fairies, there's like almost no cards that are even playable, so that could be another reason. If you're trying to make a fairy deck, probably I would even sleeve this card up. Anyway, this card is terrible by today's standards. Black 1 generic, tribal enchantment fairy. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with flying, which in standard was insane. And standard is a very slow format, and that gave a lot of 1/1 fairies to combine with, what's the fairy? Enter the battlefield, tap all your opponent's lands. Fairy something. There's 31 cards named Fairy. So be it. Okay, what's the tapping fairy? Which also sees no play in Modern. But would see play if Bitterblossom was probably playable. Mistbind Cleek. The Mistbind Cleek. Foo, thank you very much. Mistbind Clique, 1 blue, 3 generic, 4/4 flash flying, champion a fairy. When a fairy is championed with Mistbind Clique, tap all lands target player controls. So this card is unplayable now because if you don't champion a fairy, this thing goes into the bin and you're screwed. You're just absolutely doomed. But back when there was Bitterblossom, you're almost guaranteed to champion a fairy. There's going to be at least something to champion. But in competitive formats, this is unplayable. It will just kill you. When do you get your first token? On turn 3. On turn 3. Turn 2, you do nothing. Turn 3, you get a 1/1 and it deals damage to you. I can't explain how many times I've killed somebody because they killed themselves with their own Bitterblossom. I just have to do like 10 damage. Bitterblossom will do the other half. I got a funny story with Bitterblossom, actually. So I was up against an 8-rack deck that was playing Bitterblossom as a win condition. And they were also playing with Liliana the Veil. And they actually had Liliana the Veil ultimate. They had on ultimate duty Liliana of the Veil. Which, by the way, okay, so someone also mentioned Liliana the Veil is unplayable. This is like pseudo-unplayable. Also a card that's going down in Modern. But it's still quite playable in the other formats, so we're not gonna rag on her. So black 1 generic, but she has this ultimate. Sacrifice all permanents. Target player controls into 2 piles. That player sacrifices all permanents in the pile of their choice. I told my opponent after the game, you know, you had this Liliana on like 8. You could just ultimate her, target yourself, divide your permanents between Bitterblossom and something else, and sack your Bitterblossom. So, but they didn't see that line. And they died. They died. Yay. Oh no, that's the wrong. Sorry, that's the wrong. Yay. That was great stuff. Oh, I know you played at the time. Call of the Herd. That was a chase rare. That also saw play in extended. Saw play in extended. 1 green, 2 generic. Put a 3/3 green elephant creature token into play. This is like the begin. I don't know if this was the beginning of the era of card advantage, because it also had flashback. 1 green, 3 generic. Also put a 3/3 green elephant creature token into play. Even back then, I thought this card was garbage, but it was like the chase rare everywhere. I think I traded a foil Call of the Herd to somebody. I was there. I was there when they were calling of the Herd. So, yeah, and now it's just useless. Is this what we're getting for flashback? 3 mana for a 3/3 and 4 mana for another 3/3. It's trash. It's absolute garbage. The one who knocks, Dark Confidant. This is... You know what's funny about Dark Confidant? People thought that this card should be banned. Black 1 generic. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. It might still be seeing play in Vintage. I don't know. I am not really up to date with the Vintage lists. So it might still have a home somewhere. But at least in all the... And I would say if they reprinted this in Pioneer, probably would see play. Definitely would see play in Standard. But by... late... Definitely by Modern, it's completely unplayable. Legacy, I think it's basically extinct. Yeah, this it's a similar situation with Bitterblossom, actually. This card advantage is not worth it, and it's too vulnerable of a creature. Maybe the card advantage is worth it, it's just too vulnerable. It's just too hard to keep this on the board. And then occasionally it will kill you. Black 1 generic 2/1 creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. Now there is other things. There are other problems with this card. These days we want to play with Solitude. We want to play with Fury. We want to play with these elementals. We want to play with these high casting cost cards that have alternate casting costs, like Force of Vigor, Force of Negation, Force of this, Force of that. This thing will just... It's so damaging. It's so punishing. Doesn't die to Doomblade. You know what? You know what, Lauren? You're right. It's 1+ to Dark Confidant. Doesn't die to Doomblade. Oh yeah, and Dark Confidant gets completely wrecked right now by Ren and 6. Totally forgot about that. That is probably the primary reason that this is unplayable. Absolutely, completely the primary reason. Okay, I like this one, Broman. Broman is going into the past. Flame Tongue Kavu. I would like to see this thing in Modern. I think this thing could see... It's definitely not seeing play in Legacy. I think this card could see play in Modern. Where's the original one? Okay, this looks like the original one. Red, 3 generic, 4/2. Not a bad body, really. And when it enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to target creature. That's pretty good. That can kill Dark Confidant as far as I'm concerned. Phyrexian Scuda? Was that even good at the time? I was there. No one wanted my damn I had a foil Phyrexian Scuda that I opened from a box. No one wanted it. I think, honestly, I think this card was all hype at the time, but it actually just didn't see any play. Black 3 generic 3/3, pay 3 life as a kicker. If you paid the kicker cost, Phyrexian Scuda comes into play with 2+1/+1 counters. Oh, why Kavu when you can Fury? Because you can get this thing out earlier. Getting 4 mana is a lot easier to get out than 5 mana. Actually, you know what? I got nothing. You know what? You're right. Fury is just actually just way better. For that 1 extra mana, it's a Swiss Army knife. It does a million more things. It's just infinitely better. Okay, let's look at Fact or Fiction. That actually saw Modern play and then quickly escaped. Fact or Fiction. This got replaced in Modern by something. I don't remember. Oh, Fact or Fiction. Why? What I need both for? I literally just want the Fact or Fiction. Here we go. Instant. Blue 3 generic. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand, then the other into your graveyard. This just got replaced. Like, they printed it into Modern, and it saw play, and then it disappeared. I think... what's that? There's that 4... It's that 4 mana card with flashback at instant speed. You get to look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of, like, mana spent on the spell. That is completely replaced Fact or Fiction, because it's just better, basically. Look at the top 4, and then pick 2, whatever you want, instead of me putting it to 2 piles. Oh, you guys have a lot of good cards. Saproling Burst. This is not quite unplayable. I think this probably still sees a lot of... This might still see a lot of play in... Maybe this doesn't see play in Commander. This is this was a combo card with a lot of cards. For example, one of them was, I think, Pandemonium. Okay, hold on. First, let's talk Saproling Burst. A lot of people probably don't even know what this card does. Look at all these words. The original card had less words on it. Anyway, it had Fading 7, so it had 7 fading counters on it. But it had this weird ability. Remove a fade counter from Saproling Burst. Put a green Saproling creature token into play. It has this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of fade counters on Saproling Burst. When Saproling Burst leaves play, destroy all tokens that were put into play with Saproling Burst. So the neat thing with this card was, okay, so it starts with 7. You start at 7, Fading 7. You remove 1, you get a 6/6. You remove another one, you get a 5/5, and the other one becomes a 5/5. Now you have 2 5/5s. You remove another counter, you have 3 4/4 creatures. You remove another one, now you have 4 3/3 creatures. You move another one, you have a bunch of... You have 5 2/2 creatures, one more, you have whatever. So now we go to Pandemonium. Pandemonium. Let's go to Pandemonium. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield whenever a creature enters the battlefield, that creature's controller may have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player of his or her choice this turn. So let's bring out the calculator. Let's do the math. All right, so Saproling Burst will the first token of Saproling Burst deals 6 damage. Then we're gonna add. Then the next one deals 5. Then the next one deals 4. Next one deals 3. Next one deals 2. Next one deals 1. You dead! You dead! You go down to 21. You lost all your life. It's all over. So as you make a token with Saproling Burst, Pandemonium would kill them. Anyway, this combo doesn't exist anymore. It's all over. It's probably because it's clunky and expensive. I think it was like in... I think it was a part of the Replenish combo. I'm not sure. Can't remember. Elspeth, which one? Okay, well, actually, we can go with the big one. The big Mama Elspeth, Sun's Champion. That was not only one of the strongest cards in Standard at the time, it also saw Modern play. It was like the way Standard Modern control decks actually had a chance. It's very few win conditions at the time. And it took a long time for them to adopt Elspeth. What does she do? White, white, 4 generic, 4 loyalty, +1. Put 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. So she was great at defending herself. It was very expensive. People wrote her off like, 6 mana. Unplayable. No, very playable. Once the control player got to 6 mana, you started wetting yourself. You could feel something leaking out of your anal cavities. You got so scared. Now, let's say the 3/3 white soldier creature tokens weren't good enough. You could also go -3 and destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. So just blow up the board. And the emblem was actually quite good. So it was also good because these 3 tokens, they added up a lot. 3 1/1s on one turn, then another 3 1/1s, then another 3 1/1s, and all of a sudden you've got a soldier army. Elspeth, leader of the soldiers. And you could kill off your opponent with the -7 if you just really needed to kill them immediately. One shot, one kill. You get an emblem with creatures you control, get +2/+2, and have flying. We don't see this card anymore. It's just completely dead. All gone. Psychatog. Ew. Ew, this is a disgusting looking Psychatog. It's like its belly is... this is gross. I prefer this one. This is the real Psychatog. Black, blue, 1 generic, 1/2. Discard a card from your hand. Psychatog gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Remove 2 cards in your graveyard from the game. Psychatog gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I don't know if this card was playable outside of Upheaval. Because I know this was the combo at the time. You remove... So what you do is you float a bunch of mana. You're like a blue-black control-ish deck. You float a bunch of mana. Then you play Upheaval, return all perms to their owner's hands. Then you play your Psychatog. Then your opponent has like nothing in front of it to block it. And you then discard to hand size. Your graveyard is loaded, your hand is loaded, and now you can go plus, you would just basically plus your Psychatog to your opponent's death, is basically what happened. Psychatog, Upheaval, float 9, cast Upheaval, cast Psychatog, win on your next turn. That was the combo. Reggie says, I love your videos. First time I've caught you on stream. Welcome. Leovold. This card is so playable, it's banned. It's banned in it's banned in Commander. Oh no, I guess it's still legal in Legacy, but sees no play. Okay, does this see it playing in Vintage? I'm not sure. I'm actually not entirely sure about this. Anyway, we'll go through it. Blue, green, black. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. This actually was all the rage in Legacy, but now it's not. I can't remember. Maybe it still sees play in Legacy. I'm just not familiar, but I don't know. I'm not sure, people. Come on, my Tarmogoyf still sees play, even in Modern right now. I played against it yesterday. It's still around. You guys have some great cards here. Accumulated Knowledge is a great one. That was just a staple in blue decks for forever. Blue, 1 generic, instant, draw a card, then draw cards equal to the number of cards named Accumulated Knowledge in all graveyards. So that was your classic, card draw spell. The first one is basically a cycle, but the next one, draw 2. Next one, draw 3. Next one, draw 4. The Accumulated Knowledge mirror was insane. Actually, I don't know how insane it was. And I don't know if they're wetting themselves, hey, who wants to play the first Accumulated Knowledge? Because whoever does it first gets screwed. The person who plays the second one is in really good shape. Cryptic Command, sure. I have no idea what's going to help to get this card back. It's still a good card. It's still a good card. It's just clunky as hell. Blue, 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 1 generic. Choose 2. Counter target spell, or return a target permanent to its owner's hand, or tap all creatures your opponents control, or draw a card. Now sees no play anywhere. That was a staple in, I think, extended and modern decks for years. Like for 10 years. And now it's extinct. If you want to buy into your Cryptic Commands, I guess they're pretty cheap at $9. They probably have some ways to fall. It's probably still going to be a staple of Commander players, though. The Commander players, they love every card. I'd play Cryptic Command in Commander. Oh, there's some super chats. Sorry, hold on. Oh, whoa, hold the forts. How many super chats? You guys are so active. Boulder with the super chat. I appreciate you, Boulder. Unrelated, but I hate Ren and 6. Thank you for letting us know. You're not the only one. I also hate Ren and 6. That card is very annoying. We also got JM with the super chat. Sarah Avatar was more coveted than Academy. Sarah Avatar. I don't remember. Was it more coveted than Academy? I almost don't believe that. White. For generic. For Sarah Avatar's power and toughness are each equal to your life total. When Sarah Avatar is put into a graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it into its owner's library. This is an Urza Saga card. I honestly don't remember this card seeing play, but probably it did. You know, with enough artifact mana, you can make anything work. Anything can happen. Oh, you just super chatted twice. No, Sarah Avatar back in the early... Oh, you have this. We have a little bit more of a history lesson. Sneak Attack was played with it. Aha! That makes sense to me. You have a fresh 20 life. Boom! Hit him for 20! That actually is pretty good. Also an Urza Saga card. God, you could get this thing out easily by, like, turn 2. No, maybe not. Maybe turn 3. Need a little bit more help. And we have Accelerate. Thanks so much for the super chat. Frenetic Efreet. Half the metagame in 97. Frenetic Efreet. But you know, that's partially because... Oh, actually, now I don't know why about this one. Flip a coin. If you win the flip, Frenetic Efreet phases out. If you lose the flip, sacrifice Frenetic Efreet. Was this good? Why was this good? Now, I understand things like Juzam Dejin. People just like cards like this because... we can actually just put this on the list. This was a very popular card at the time because a big, beefy creature is difficult back then. They don't have much for big, beefy creatures like they do now. But by today's standard, 4 mana for a 5/5 that deals 1 damage to you? Are you kidding me? No one wants to pay that mana. But why would they want to use this? Flip a coin. Because it was. Anyway, I have no idea why this is good. 3, I guess. No, I have no guesses. Maybe flipping coins work different. Maybe people were cheating with their coins. That's why. They were cheating. Okay. MTG TV. Thanks so much for the super chat. You only get one, though. M Hammer? What is the M Hammer? I don't know what the M Hammer is, but I do know what Thawing Glaciers is. Thawing Glaciers. Because I'm a blue player. Get the old Thawing Glaciers. At the time, I couldn't wrap my head around why this card was so popular. Comes into play tapped. It's a land. By the way, it doesn't add mana. You have to pay 1 tap, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the play tapped. This does not count towards your 1 land per turn limit. Shuffle your library afterwards. At end of turn, return Thawing Glaciers to owner's hand. This seemed like such a slow card to me, to be honest. It was super, ultra, ridiculously slow. Like, let's say this was your first land for the turn. So you put this into play. Then you untap with it. You play a regular land. Then you're going to tap. You're going to get a land. So you have 2 lands in play. You bring the Thawing Glaciers back to hand. So essentially, you do not get a head-on land drops, but you do get to sift lands out of your deck, especially later in the game. Late in the game, this will just you have infinite land drops. It's like Ren and 6 at that point. It's Ren and 6 the land! It's Ren and 6 the land. Alright, now I understand the power. Ren and 6 the land. Every card that could phase was a lot better with damage on the stack. Oh, is that right? Target opponent calls heads or tails while coin is in the air. If the if the flip ends up in your favor, Frenetic Efreet phases out. Okay, so there's a 50-50 chance this thing lives with damage. Okay, I see. And of course, people were cheating back then, so that's how it would be. MTG TV would love to add on to this. Glaciers was the best draw engine for standard control decks back then. Whoever stopped playing lands first in control lost. I totally understand. I remember even in extended, you wanted to set up a situation where, like, when you play your Morphling, for example, or any win condition, that you could back it up with the max number of counter magic in your hand, because your opponent with their counter magic would just get screwed. So once you have enough lands in play, you then play the threat, they counter, you counter, they counter, you counter, they counter, you counter, and then you win, because you had more lands to play your counter spells than they could. Then they had lands to defend themselves. No, 100%, because, oh, you can flip a million times and make sure it phases out. Aha! You don't need to cheat with Frenetic Efreet. I forgot about that. Yeah, you can flip a million times. You just go for it. Just flip as many times as you want. This is stupid. If the flip ends up in your favor, but then it dies. I don't get it. If you flip 100 times, like, one of them is going to kill it. And burying it is different from damage on the stack. It's not damage. It just dies. No? Am I not mistaken? There was a combo with coin flipping. Yeah. And this card is used in it. Get your Frenetic Efreets, people. Okay. What else do we have? My dude, remember Phyrexian Arena? Before there was Dark Confidant, there was Phyrexian Arena. Where's the first Phyrexian Arena? I want the first one. I like the OG cards here. We're in an OG day. We have to pay tribute to the original card. Black, 1 generic. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. That was the original Dark Confidant. And harder to remove. Way harder to remove. It's really not that bad. I guess it has no home. Losing that life still sucks, though. Losing a life every turn, that is not pleasant. The card to J, Hammer of Bogardan. From Mirage. Red, 1 generic. Hey, don't count this. By the way, this card is modern legal. And I know that because M. Hayashi started playing this card. But anyway, it's not, I guess it's not super dead, but it's basically dead. It's dead so long as M. Hayashi's not playing it. Red, 1 generic. Deals 3 damage to target creature or player, which can hit a lot of stuff. Can hit Ragavan, hit Dragon Rage Chandler. Red, 2 generic. Return Hammer of Bogardan to your hand. Use this ability only during your upkeep and only if Hammer of Bogardan is in your graveyard. And, like, do you want to bring in graveyard hate versus the burn player? You don't want to do that. That's awful. That'd be just terrible. But that was, like, basically a core burn card in a lot of red slide decks. And I think also in the Ponza decks. So it's a big card. So basically, if you were playing red, you had to be playing the hammer. But wait, there's more. Thanks so much, but wait, there's more. Don't forget about Urnham Djinn and classic Armageddon strats. Urnham Djinn. I don't even know what this card is. What's the original one? Well, this looks a little bit more familiar. Green, 3 generic. At the beginning of your upkeep, target non-wall creature and opponent controls gain Forest Walk until your next upkeep. What the hell? But hey, 4 mana for a 4/5 creature, not bad. Target non-wall creature and opponent controls gains Forest Walk. So basically, you have to give your opponent the ability to land walk you for a turn. Sort of sucks. Oh, Curd Ape. That was also a classic Zoo card. Curd Ape used to be used in a major legacy deck. Something with Curd Ape, Wild Nacatl, and some life gain guy. You know what's funny? The last time Curd Ape won, I think the last time Curd Ape won a big open tournament was in Legacy. And it was when Treasure Cruise was legal. I don't remember why. And the person was trolling, if I remember correctly. They just played Curd Ape in their blue-red Delver deck. And they were trolling. I think it was Delver of Secrets, Monastery Swiftspear, Curd Ape were their creatures. And they just played it as a joke. And, oh no, I guess it was... Hold on, they have to have a forest in that deck. I guess they had Tarmogoyf in there. I don't remember the maybe it wasn't blue-red, because you need to have a forest in the deck. I don't remember the circumstances now, but Curd Ape won a Legacy Open during the Treasure Cruise era. Meddling Mage still sees play today. Come on, that's not garbage. Humans is hurting, but it's still around. It's still kicking. Why do you pronounce Dishin? No, I'm just speaking too quickly. Edgewalker. I don't know what this is. Oh yeah, just one more thing. Curd Ape is gone. No one plays that card anymore. The Edgewalker. Was this good at the time? I didn't play near... Or did I? I did play around this time. Black, white, 1 generic, 2/2 cleric spells you play cost black and white less to play. This effect only reduces the amount of colored mana you pay. I don't know if this card was good at the time. Powder Keg. You know what the thing... Powder Keg still sees play. Well, I guess it doesn't see play. Okay, so... The thing is... The funny thing is this card is on the reserve list, but they made Ratchet Bomb, which is the same thing. It's the same thing. So Powder Keg is at the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a fuse counter on Powder Keg that you can tap, sacrifice Powder Keg, destroy each artifact and creature with converted mana cost equal to the number of fuse counters on Powder Keg. So, but it doesn't hit enchantments. So Ratchet Bomb hits everything. Hits enchantments, all non-land permanents. Powder Keg specifically only the creatures and the artifacts. But I guess it was the Ratchet Bomb of the time. We can put it that way. It was the Ratchet Bomb of the time. And now it's just completely unplayable. Unless you want to play with Planeswalkers and enchantments as your main win conditions. You can play Powder Keg and you don't blow up your own stuff. The Pain with the super chat. Thank you so much. Entreat the Angels and any sort of miracle card. Entreat the Angels. Classic. You know what made this thing go away though was the banning of Sensei's Divining Top. This would still see play, I think, if Sensei's Divining Top was legal, but it's not. And it used to be a win condition, all those top decks. You could also say the same about Terminus. It's just not efficient enough anymore. You would think this card would still be okay. No one wants to play it. Serrated Arrows? Or Serrated Arrows? I don't even know what this card does. Where'd this card come from? From Homelands? Enters the battlefield with 3 arrow counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are no arrowhead counters on serrated arrows, sacrifice it. Remove an arrowhead counter from serrated arrows. Put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Basically, you stab him! You stab him! You get him! I guess that probably is the best card in Homelands. So it was probably a house at the time. Miracle was a cool mechanic. Smuggler's Copter. This was it banned in Standard? I think it got banned in Standard. And now it just doesn't see... And then it got banned in Pioneer, because Pioneer was just, like, too early of a format. But, like, basically by today's... I think you can unban this card in Pioneer. Maybe by the time you're watching this. I don't know when you're watching this. The replay. Probably it's unbanned in Pioneer by then. Smuggler's Copter is just really, really weak. It's, I mean, it looks all good and all that, but you still need to have another creature on the battlefield, and it's really hard to block with the damn thing. Ignite Memories? What do you mean from Ignite? What does this thing do? Oh, the standard combo deck. Target player reveals a card at random from his or her hand. Ignite Memories deals damage to that player equal to that card's converted mana cost. So this card was based around, you know, basically ritualing a bunch of stuff, Ignite Memories your opponent, and then they probably kill themselves through the storm. Yeah, only saw playing Standard. Hey, we're talking... Today is like a Standard All-Star Day. The day of Standard All-Stars that see no play anymore. Parallax Wave. That was actually quite... That was a decent card at the time. If we can get it to load. It was another fading card. White, white, 2 generic. Remove a fade counter from Parallax Wave. Exile target creature. When it leaves the battlefield, each player returns to the battlefield all cards he or she owns exiled with Parallax Wave. Actually, we might as well just talk about Replenish as well. Like, I think that was in the Replenish deck. Replenish. There we go. Replenish. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play. So I think I can't remember how it worked, to be honest. But you, like, dumped a bunch of enchantments in your graveyard. Then the idea is replenish, but in combination to Opalescence? I wonder what's stopping this deck today. Did we look at Metamorphose? Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. We didn't look at it because it still sees play today. And then Opalescence says each other enchantment is a creature with power and toughness, each equal to the enchantment mana cost. It's still an enchantment, though. Jacob, did Vesuva Doppelganger actually see play back then? Vesuven Doppelganger. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I mean, cool art. Like, what did you do with this card at the time? I mean, this is a card that saw play since, like, beta. You may have Vesuven Doppelganger enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it doesn't copy that creature's color, and it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may have this creature become a copy of target creature. That is still pretty good! Even today, actually. I like this card. I like the art. I like the card. You get to keep cloning things. It's a clone that keeps on giving. So, yeah, anyway. I have no idea if this was actually, like, what do you copy back then? Especially in alpha. Nothing. Or, I don't know, maybe it got reprinted quite a few times. Maybe by Unlimited or Revised, it ended up seeing play. This was such a good one. Hold on, where was this? I saw Pack Rat. Don't know who said that, but Pack Rat. No play. Nothing. This was a standard all-star. If someone played Pack Rat, you didn't kill it, then you were just going to get bombarded by rats and then you would die. It was basically the soul of mono-black devotion at the time. Black 1 generic. Pack Rat's power and toughness are each equal to the number of rats you control. And you can pay a black 2 generic, discard a card, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of Pack Rat. Turn 2, Pack Rat. Turn 3, make a Pack Rat. Turn 4, make a Pack Rat. Turn 5, make a Pack Rat. You dead. It was simple as that. What a stupid... It was a 1-card combo by itself. And now, no play. Nothing. Nowhere. No format. No one cares. Oh, thank you so much, Sharkman Arcanum, for the huge super chat. Did you have something to say with this, though? You're supposed to... For all those new to super chatting, you gotta super chat with the comment at the same time. I'll look, though. Sharkman. Sharkman, what is your message? Keeping a close eye on the chat. All right, if you have anything to say, I'll shout it out. Copying a legendary creature in old school Magic would kill the legend. Oh, I totally forgot about that. No, hold on. It depends on the era. Because I think if you... I don't remember how the rules work now. I don't remember what the first legend rule was. Oh, Francis Bowman with a huge looking super chat. Thank you so much. We did look at Delver of Secrets, though. You're totally correct. Delver of Secrets actually is on the cusp of always being gone. I mean, it used to be broken. It used to be the premier 1 blue card. And now it's like, it's the card to cut from your Delver deck all the time. Memory Jar doesn't see play anymore because it's banned everywhere. That's why. But it would see play. What are other good cards? I can't actually attest to how much Revelark saw play at the time. I don't know how to spell Revelark's name. Revelark, 1 white, 4 generic, 4/3 creature with flying. Leaves the battlefield to return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And it has Evoke. I think under the right conditions, it could still be good. Oh, this is a great one. This is a good one. Geist of St. Traft. Geist of St. Traft. Multi-format all-star. I think it even saw play in Legacy. Blue, white, 1 generic, 2/2 hexproof. Whenever it attacks, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking. Exile that token at end of combat. I want to say, like, this card could still see play. What defeats a Geist of St. Traft? Not Fury, not Solitude, nothing. Nothing is going to, nothing beats this card. Except blockers, I guess. I guess that's what beats Geist of St. Traft, some random stupid blockers. But this clocked you so fast, so hard. Deal 6 damage, deal 6 damage, deal 6 damage, and then you dead. And now just nowhere. Where's Geist of St. Traft now? Legal in all the formats. It's 60 cents. Oh my god. The legacy of Geist of St. Traft has not aged well. 60 cents for this card. Used to be 20 bucks. One who knocks. Staying in the pack rat era. Sphinx's Revelation. That also saw modern play. Sphinx's Revelation. Basically, what is that card from Urza Saga? Stroke of Genius. That gains life. That definitely was an incredibly good card. Even Sphinx's Revelation for once, you'd pull it off if you needed to. Just keep drawing those cards, and eventually they chain them together. And then you had the Snapcaster Mage into the Sphinx's Revelation. What a great combo. You gain X life and you draw X cards. And nowhere to be seen. Oh, the times are changing, yes. This card was near unstoppable in Return to Ravnica Standard. Absolutely. Siege Rhino. Don't tell that to Code Diamonds. Don't tell that to Code Diamonds. So outside of Code Diamonds playing this card, Siege Rhino is basically a goner. Black, green, white, 1 generic, 4/5 trampler. I mean, this completely warps Standard. You couldn't play Standard without this card. You had to play. You had to be playing at least the Abzan colors. Because if you're not playing Siege Rhino, what are you doing? And so instant play in Modern. It was played in the pod decks. It completely changed people from playing Jund to Abzan. Some people played all 4 colors. Basically, you had to splash white now for the Siege Rhino because that 3-point life swing was a big deal versus the Delver decks versus the Burn decks. And now, 4 mana, who cares? 4 mana, gain 3 life, 4 get out of here. Actually, the black-green family is doing rough. Code Diamonds, though, is doing the good job of hanging in there. I guess Thragtusk is a great Thragtusk. Okay, this still technically sees play in Tron. They still play this card. It's got a little bit of play, but it's basically worthless. Compared to like what it was in Standard. It was also another Standard All-Star. Some people say it warped Standard around it. It was essentially it was the Siege Rhino before Siege Rhino came out. Or you could say Siege Rhino was the Thragtusk at the time. Enters the battlefield, gain 5 life. So if you're about to die, you're now in really good shape because you have a 5/3 body that will trade with anything. And when it leaves the battlefield, so even if they remove it with removal, you get another 3/3 beast. So you block their creature, you get another creature to block more creatures. Instant stabilization. You play Thragtusk into Thragtusk, they can basically concede from there. People wanted it banned. Exactly. People wanted it banned. Howling Mine. I cannot attest to... This definitely was a card. I know it was a card at the time. 2, at the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. Was this played with Icy Manipulator? Tap target artifact, creature, or land. So what you could do is... Tap your at the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped. So you could, like, tap your Howling Mine... on your turn. I don't know if this was a combo at the time. I'm just assuming it was. Because back then, they had these stupid... There's some artifacts back then. If they're untapped, you get the ability. But if they're not untapped, they're useless. It was in Kamigawa Standard too? Interesting. Interesting. Well, I'm sure you guys all love the show today. But it's with all good things, they have to come to an end. I'm sure we'll do this again another time. Thank you very much for being part of Coffee and MTG. If you want to see it live, come here. Be here Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you very much for all the super chats, all your contributions. lets me know you love Coffee and MTG. We got to keep doing this every single morning. But the most importantly, I got to thank all of you, because without all of you and your suggestions, we would have no show. Where's the show without all of you in the morning? So thank you very much for waking up and being part of Coffee and MTG. So keep brewing up those coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you